Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the FGW podcast. As always, I am your host, Faiza Garba Wakili, and on today's episode, we are discussing on a very special and important topic, which is very crucial for every class of people, whether students or professionals, because on this episode, we are having a very special guest who is an entrepreneur, an entrepreneurship lecturer, also a director of student affairs in Nigate University, Mina, who will be discussing on the important topic of entrepreneurial mindset, and he will be teaching us and enlightening us rather on how to build entrepreneurial mindset. So welcome, Ambassador Samuel Olatunbosi.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir, for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
All right. So, sir, regarding the topic, can you enlighten us on what entrepreneurship is?
Okay, thank you for having me. When you talk about entrepreneurship, you're talking about innovation. You're talking about creativity. You're talking about risk taking. You're talking about resilience. That is the cardinal pillar of entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is all about your ability to innovate, your ability to create, your resilience, and also your mindset for risk taking. That is entrepreneurship. Although we have 1001 definition of entrepreneurship, but basically this is what entrepreneurship is all about.
Alright, so what is entrepreneurship beyond starting a business?
Entrepreneurship beyond starting a business has to do with innovation. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with risk-taking. It has to do with adaptability. It has to do with resilience. So beyond business, entrepreneurship is like a creation. So an entrepreneur, so that you not see me as if I'm blaspheming, I'm not saying an entrepreneur is a creator, but entrepreneur is an entrepreneurial person, is someone that innovates, that creates. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, it's either you are innovating or you are being creative. But creativity has to do with adding value to an existing product, an existing process, or something, doing something in another unique way. That is entrepreneurship.
Okay, so why is it important for students and youths to have this understanding of entrepreneurship?
Having understanding of entrepreneurship is very, very important. Not just for the youths, for everyone. As far as you are interested in being relevant in whatever field of study or choice of career, you must have entrepreneurial mind. Any business that you're operating, any profession that you are into, you must have entrepreneurial mind for you to continue to be relevant. There are some businesses that are no longer in existence after maybe 2 or 3 years. Ask me why.
Why?
No innovation, no creativity, and the world is evolving. Everything is changing. Technology is bringing change. So if you are not having an entrepreneurial mind, no matter how good you are, you'll soon be forgotten.
Okay, so talking of entrepreneurial mindset, what does it mean to have an entrepreneurial mindset?
Very simple. We're talking about entrepreneurial mindset. You're talking about a way of thinking that embraces learning from failure and also probably staying solution focused. Talking about cultivating a heart that's, no matter how it is, you have that mindset, your way of reasoning, that is the mindset itself. You must be entrepreneurial in your thinking. It gives you opportunity to see what others are seeing as obstacle as opportunity. It also gives you the privilege to also take advantage of opportunities when you see one. If you are not entrepreneurial minded, you will be sitting in the midst of opportunity and you will not know. That mindset is something that has become part of your thinking. That is entrepreneurial mindset.
So, speaking of being able to recognize opportunities, are those part of the skills of having an entrepreneurial mindset?
Of course, as an entrepreneur, one of the skills that you must have is the ability to identify opportunity when you see one.
Okay.
It's one of the skills. Another one is converting that opportunity and taking advantage of it. It's another skill also. So it goes hand in hand. You must be able to identify opportunity and you must be able to convert that opportunity to your own advantage.
All right. So, talking about the skills, these entrepreneurial skills, are they innate or are they learned?
They are both.
Okay, can you enlighten us more on how that is?
Okay, fine. When you talk about entrepreneurship skill or entrepreneurial skill rather, there are some traits that people have. They like, I call it, permit me to use the word inborn. There are some that you learn.
Okay.
So entrepreneurship, or let me say an entrepreneurial minded person can either be born or can be made. So both goes hand in hand. We have people that naturally in their what about one of their traits is that they are natural risk takers.
Okay.
Naturally they are risk takers. You can call those ones. You can, as risk taking is part of entrepreneurial skill, you can see such people as if they are born with it. Somebody that is able, have been trained on how to identify opportunity, you can see that one as somebody that learned the skill of entrepreneurship. So both go hand in hand.
All right. So, how can students be able to develop this mindset in school?
Well, as a student, to develop an entrepreneurial skill, you have to look inward. What do you really have passion for? You must identify what you have passion for. There are some students that they are good. They have passion for cooking. Mind you, it's not everybody that is going to be a chef. But having identified this inbuilt trait earlier, you can sit down and write book or tips on how to be a good cook. Now, as students, another way you can develop your entrepreneurial mind is to develop yourself by looking at existing entrepreneurs that are succeeding in their field. You can read their books. I've never met Peter Drucker before, because Peter Drucker is one of my mentors. I've never met Brian Tracy before, but Brian Tracy is one of my mentors. How do I get in contact with him? Through his books. You can follow some of them online. With this, you can develop your skills. It's deliberate action. It's a deliberate thing. You must be intentional about it. It's not something that you just wish. You must be intentional about developing entrepreneurial skill. You can start little by doing little things that will develop you. There is a saying that China was not built in a day. So you can also start step by step and you build that mindset in you.
So there are these set of students that you would see that they don't have a business, they have not started a business yet, but seeing others doing it, and they want to do it, but they do not have this specific area they want to start a business from. It is either they do not know how to start it, maybe having an idea, or they do not have the skills that they want to focus on, maybe a service or a good that they want to focus in their business. So what advice or suggestion will you give those set of or category of people?
Okay, now they want to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
They want to go into business. However, I want to make this clarification. Being in business is not the same thing as being an entrepreneur. You can be a business person and not be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
What is the differentiation? What is the difference between both? If you are in business and you want to be an entrepreneur, there must be innovation in whatever you are doing. There must be creativity. What you are doing must be different from what others are doing. Now, I came up with a formula, although through one of my research in the particular book I read, we call it TADA formula. TADA. The T stands for think. The A stands for ask. The D stands for decide. And the last A stands for act.
Okay, so think,
act
and
decide
then
and act. That is TADA formula.
Okay.
Now, you think you have a section with yourself. What do I really have passion for? Think it through. Great ideas, great innovations start with thinking. Think it through. What do I really want to do? That your classmates or classmate with somebody does not mean that you must have this. Even twin, they don't have the same passion.
Yes.
So you think about what you want to do. Then they ask, the A they say what? Ask. You ask questions. How do you ask questions? You can ask people in the industry, people that are already doing something similar to what you want to do. You can read. It's just like information seeking. You are seeking information. So you look at all means of how you can gather information on what you want to go into. Then you decide. From all this information you have gathered, you decide on what to do. After taking your decision, then you act. Now, through all this process, using this standard formula, you'll be able to identify what you want to go for. And lastly, I want to add, make sure you have passion for whatever you have chosen. When everything, when we are talking about entrepreneurship, the time will come where there may be failure or setback. What will keep you going is the passion. So you must have passion.
So what are these? You recommended that students should start a little business, right? As soon as they are able to recognize their passion in a particular field. So what are those kind of small businesses that you would recommend students to start?
I would rather encourage them to be entrepreneurial business person.
Okay.
You see, when you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, make sure you identify a need and you are providing solution to that need.
That is being able to identify
unmet needs
and then profile solutions to them. Okay.
You have created your business. As far as there is a problem, people must look for solution. So be that solution provider. You have a business. So in as much as you scan your environment and you look at what are the things in this environment that there are problems. What are the frustration of people? What are the unmet needs? Provide solution to those things. You have a business. So it depends on your environment. So I cannot just say, okay, because this particular environment, people are already doing cake baking, or they're already into graphics and all that, you should also do the same. No, environment differs. What are the needs in your environment? Provide solutions to it, you have a business.
I think that is actually a good one, because you see some people, because they see someone doing a particular business and succeeding in it, they also want to go into that without actually looking at the pros and cons, or even seeing whether they can actually invest in that kind of business.
We call them copycat entrepreneurs.
Wow, okay, so they have a name.
Yes, they have a name.
Oh,
we call them copycats.
Okay. Copycat.
Yes, copycat entrepreneurs.
Okay, so what kind of mistakes do you think students make, or do you actually see students make when they are starting up? Do you see young entrepreneurs? Let me rephrase. What mistakes do you see them make when starting a business?
I can tell you that for free. Inconsistency.
Okay.
You see, when the passion, let me call it, not passion now, the excitement of you starting. If you cannot sustain it, if you allow it to decline or to die, the business will also die. One of the mistakes is that the inability to sustain that tempo of starting that business. There's no consistency. Today, we know that you are into the business of providing, let's say, information. You are data, you are information seller. You sell information, and tomorrow you are no longer there. Next tomorrow you come back again. There is no consistency. Another mistake is financial discipline.
Okay, can you enlighten us on the meaning of financial discipline?
We are talking about financial discipline. There is difference between your turnover, your capital, and your profit. But the mistake is that people see turnover as profit, which is not. You started a business with 50,000 naira, and at the end of the month you're already having 85,000 naira or 100,000 naira. That is times 2. 100,000 naira is not a profit. It's the turnover. Now, the 100,000 naira now, remember that your capital is in that 100,000. The goods that you have sold has not been replaced. So people tend to live beyond their means. The little they have, they are eager to spend more than they have. So financial discipline, we don't have it. Research shown that most of the businesses collapse today because there's no financial discipline, no financial record, proper record keeping. So it's one of the problems.
So we should be able to save more than we spend.
I will not use the word save.
Okay.
I would rather use the word plough back profits. You should be able to plough back your profits. Allow the business to stabilize. Separate capital from profits.
Okay, so what do you mean by that plough back?
For instance, you have made a profit of 30,000 naira this month. It's your profit. You have 50,000 naira as your capital for running the business. That 30,000 naira, you bring back that 30,000 naira into the business. That is ploughing back of profit. You plough it back into the profit. It is spelled PLOUGH. Plough back. Profit. So you the profit you have made, you reinvest it into your business. So with that, it will increase your capital base. You know, the more capital you have, the more opportunity you have also to make more money.
Right. So, sir, talking about students starting a business while still in school, so how can they balance their school activities with business?
Okay. You need to understand yourself. You need to prioritize. You need to manage your time. Of course, you are in school. You don't spend the whole day in the classroom. You need to set your priority. The time you have for your business, you should be able to mark it at the time you have for your studies. Another way they can do this, you can be flexible about it. You can have a virtual office, which means without your physical presence with your clients, you can still continue your business. You can take 5 minutes out of class to attend to your clients. In fact, technology has made things easier. You can have some of this automation that can respond to queries while you are away. So study is not impediment to doing the business. It's never. It's how you're able to manage your time. And you also look at the businesses you can do that they may not really need your physical presence all the time because you are still a student. So you can also look at partnership.
All right, so talking about having a visual office, right? That's what you used. So
Virtual.
Okay, virtual office. So what digital platforms can students leverage on in order to promote their business?
There are a lot of them, but it depends on what you are doing. The social media is a wide, to use the word, is a large marketplace that you can always take advantage of. So it depends on what you are dealing with and who are your target audience. The set of people that are on LinkedIn are different from people on Facebook.
Okay.
The people on X space, what we formerly known as Twitter, different from people on Instagram. So you need to understand your target market before you know the specific social media platform that you can use. Beyond social media, we have other digital platform that you can also use to market your business. Google has a lot of tools that you can use for your business. There is a site, we call it Fiverr site, where people market their skills. All you sell in that place is your skill virtually. You can be a personal assistant to someone, you are in Nigeria presently, to someone in UK. You don't get to see each other, but you communicate virtually and you get paid. So the advent of technology has really made doing business more easier. It's just for you to take advantage and have the right skill and how to use them, how to convert them to your own advantage as an entrepreneur.
All right, so you mentioned LinkedIn as one of the digital tools.
Yes.
So how digital platforms.
Yes.
So how do you recommend it for young entrepreneurs?
You see, on LinkedIn, you have many professionals. You can take advantage of LinkedIn for networking. Can take advantage of LinkedIn for networking. People on that platform are always looking out for skills. So you can use that medium to sell your skills.
Because the reason why is that these days you wouldn't see much of young people. I'm not talking about people in their early or late 20s and 30s, like people younger, like mostly teenagers. Even teenagers, they still have their businesses. You can call them young entrepreneurs, right? So you wouldn't see them much leveraging on this LinkedIn. So if they want to start it, how can they use it to their advantage?
By posting content that is related to what they are doing. It starts from even your profile on LinkedIn, how you introduce yourself. It's like a platform where the information you provided will determine the kind of link or suggestion that will be brought to you.
Okay.
So it starts with that. Make sure you get it right by giving yourself the right description on that page.
Okay, so what are other digital platforms or tools that you would recommend for students?
For students, all the social media, let me give you an instance. As common, permit me to use the word, as common as WhatsApp is, do you know you can make money from WhatsApp? You can advertise, you can get students. I'm using myself as an example. I'm into CAC registration of businesses and companies as a consultant, as a business and management consultant. So there was a day I used my status on WhatsApp to advertise what I do. I got averagely 300 and above view within 24 hours. There are people that view my adverts that day, but they didn't say anything, they didn't mention anything about it to me, not until around after let me see, 2 years or plus. They say, "Oh, Sam, I saw your advert, you are into CAC registration, this and that." I say, "Yes." Now, that does not, it cost me only my data. So it's not until maybe you go and pay for, we have Facebook adverts, we have Google adverts and all that. Even the WhatsApp, you can create you can get a broadcast on your own, on your WhatsApp. Get number of people that you have, send bulk messages to them, broadcast on advertising what you are doing every day. Just a click, be able to reach large number of people and network.
So that shows that you may think that nobody's seeing what you are doing, but people are actually seeing. And when the time comes,
yes, when the need arises for what you are doing, people will actually remember you.
Yes. All right. So, what are the challenges? What are the common challenges that students usually face? Students like young entrepreneurs, the challenges that they usually face. What do you think those challenges are, and how can they overcome it?
Yeah, the challenges, let me use their own word. Some will say finance. However, finance is not a challenge. It depends on how you're able to leverage on your relationship and the network that you have. So I think one of the challenges that students may be having is combining their studies with their business.
Okay. So how about the challenge they have in brand positioning?
The challenge they have in brand positioning is because they can overcome it by seeking for knowledge. Ask questions. Ask people that in that field. Improve yourself. Self-development. You understand? Talk to people about what you are doing. If I ask, how many times do you talk to people about what you do daily? Approximately, how many people do you talk to about what you do daily? Make it be intentional about it. Anywhere I go to, I make sure that people, my conversation with you within 2-3 minutes, I will be able to sell what I do. Even though you did not ask me, I will look for an opportunity to chip in what I do.
Indirect,
even directly or indirectly. There is no crime in that.
Yes.
So the student need to improve. They need to improve. Some students are doing business and their classmate doesn't know what they are doing. It's not good enough.
Yes.
Shouldn't be ashamed of what you are doing. As far as it's not a crime. So they can overcome this by also improving on themselves.
So what kind of support systems are available for students to leverage on?
Okay, let me use Newgate University as an example.
Okay.
Formerly I was director of entrepreneurship before being deployed back to this place as Director of Student Affairs. Currently, in Newgate University, the university come up with a program to support young entrepreneurs, our students. If you have a novel idea and you are sure of what you really want to do with a good business proposal, you can come forward. The school is ready to invest in whatever you are doing and have a stake in it. So that is one of the support system. Aside that of the Newgate, there are many platforms that government has also given that students, not only students, entrepreneurs can leverage on. We have agency like Bank of Industry, we have Smedan, and recently the entrepreneurship department in CBN also. So there are some of them outside there, aside the NGOs, that we can leverage on. It's all about getting the right information.
So what's the best advice you could give to student entrepreneurs?
I will not call it, I would not like to use the word the best.
Okay.
Yes.
So out of your advice that you give them,
Okay.
which one would you say they should leverage on?
So as a student, whatever you are doing, make sure you are entrepreneurial minded. Irrespective of your course of study, irrespective of your parent financial status today, make sure you're entrepreneurial minded and be intentional about it. Every student, like in Newgate University, one of our promise is that we are going to be graduating job creators, not job seekers. So in as much as you are interested in fulfilling your dream, try and get a business.
Okay, so if you were to go back to your younger self, what kind of advice, entrepreneurial advice, would you give your younger self?
One of the advice I would give my younger self is to devote more time in pursuing my business dream than any other thing. If I'm to reverse the hand of the clock, I will advise myself I should give more attention to business, to entrepreneurship than any other thing.
Okay, so were there any mistakes you made that time that you would advise students now to not follow that kind of footstep?
Yes. As entrepreneurs, failures, setbacks are part of what make our journey more exciting. When I was serving, not as a student now, when I was serving in NYSC, I identified an opportunity and I started a clothing business. And I continued in that line even after the completion of my 1-year mandatory NYSC program. But along the line, I deviated. I dabbled into another business that I don't have much knowledge about. And I must confess to you, it was not a successful one. But I learned lesson. So the lesson learned is what I can call my gain from that.
Alright.
It's actually a mistake to actually dabble into, to leave the known to an area which I don't have knowledge about it, and I failed to ask to use the TADA formula that I know today now.
Alright. So thank you for your wonderful insights. Finally, we've come to the end of this episode of the FGW podcast. Whether you are a student or professional, I'm very sure in this episode you would have a wonderful insight or idea on how to start a business and how to go about it and how to take control of your business. So thanks for watching and join us next time on our next episode. Have a nice day.